Hi, this is Jovine from Behind the Markets, and I wanted to talk today about the loss we took in Spirit Airlines. And really, it's a little bit too early for a full postmortem. But basically, what I do in my life is I try to audit or understand every decision I make that costs money, that's a losing decision, so that I can get better. The idea here is to become a better investor over time. And one that stands out glaringly to me now, and it's just so clear in hindsight, it's so funny how that is I got too focused on whether the deal was going to happen or not, basically. And I thought about it and I analyzed the deal and I weighed that out with you guys when I was talking about it. I talked about a competitor. Four airlines control 80% of the airline market, and this would create a true national low cost competitor to those airlines. And I thought that was a good thing. And reasonable people could disagree with that either way. But that's what my head was at. I was pinned on that action or that argument, really. But during this whole time, during this whole saga, and I was also focused on the fact that this was selling at would have doubled in price, basically, if the deal had been approved. One of the things I didn't focus on, one of the big mistakes that I made is not really looking at Spirit as a standalone business and understanding how it had deteriorated during the review of this deal. One of the reasons we have such a killer track record at takeover targets is I don't really recommend companies that I wouldn't be completely comfortable owning if the deal fell apart. That's just one of the basic rules of life. The idea is somebody else is trying to buy the company, take them over. So usually there's something really good there. So I generally recommend or aim to recommend companies that you just, okay, if the deal falls apart, you're happy as a clam owning them no matter what, because it's a solid business and over time that things are going to be fine. What I didn't pay enough attention to in hindsight is that the fact that Spirit, the business, deteriorated over the past year. Basically, again, the jet engine trouble has forced them to ground planes. This Pratt and Whitney jet engine issue, which basically just in December alone, they were forced to ground 41 planes, which basically is taking revenue capacity out of the sky. It's limiting their ability to generate cash flow and profits. They also did a sale-leaseback transaction, which basically means they took these jets that they owned, they sold them, and they're leasing them back. That was a second indicator that they were rushing to raise cash, et cetera. And they raised $419 million there. So those, looking back, that would have, if I wasn't so focused on whether the logic or the soundness of the deal, I would have focused more on the actual business itself. And I didn't pay enough attention to how that business had deteriorated during this legal review process. And that's one area of my game that I have to improve. One of the things I always liked about Michael Jordan is for years he came in and he was the #1 scorer. And then they said he wasn't good on defense. So he went during the summers and became a nut for how to get good on defense to improve his game. Then they said he's not good at off the ball defense. So he went back the next summer and became good and won defensive MVP all those years in a row. So the idea as an investor is always to improve the game. The search for the truth, the search for playing the game, mastering our craft at the highest level is what this is about for me. Not being right or wrong in any one stock. But on this one, I didn't see the full battlefield fully, clearly. I didn't understand that this threat was coming up on us, this deterioration of Spirit's finances from the side. And that's not a mistake I plan to make again. But then again, I really say I never make the same mistake twice, but the mistake family is very big and you can stumble upon a cousin or a brother or a sister of the original mistake anytime. So I just wanted to share with you some of my thoughts on the initial audit. A lot of folks have written in to find out, what do I think happens now with Spirit Airlines? I don't know. I mean, if I'm Frontier, who's the first company they had that deal with before JetBlue swept in and took them away, if I'm Frontier, I say to myself, gosh, I can buy Spirit. And right now, capacity, getting these planes and pilots is so important that if I'm Spirit Airlines, and Fitch did not downgrade the rating, but if I'm Frontier, I say, I could buy this, get all this extra capacity, parts, planes, and pilots that I need. If I let them slide into bankruptcy, then basically a bigger company, Delta, United, or JetBlue, can buy these parts out of bankruptcy and basically block me from growing. So I think there's a lot of game theory going on right now in the airline industry as to what to do here. So Spirit, one of three things either happens. Either they work around, they survive, they get back to profitability, which is going to be exceedingly difficult with part of their fleet grounded, because of this. Like I said, in December, 41 planes are grounded. That's going to be challenging. Number two, so number one, they survive, they turn the corner. Number two, they get acquired. Number three, they slide into bankruptcy. I don't know which one that is, but you know what? When the odds of bankruptcy, total collapse for shareholders raises above a certain percentage, that's too rich for my blood. And that's what led me to sell this and close this deal out and not hold it, even in the collapse of the deal happening. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. Hang in there. We'll get them next time.